There is a danger that comes with being an empath. Not the kind people warn you about. Not the danger of feeling too much or caring too deeply or being too sensitive for this world. Those dangers are obvious. You have lived with them your entire life. The danger Carl Jung warned about is different. It is hidden, silent, insidious. And by the time most empaths recognize it, the damage has already been done. Jung spent his life studying the human psyche. He understood things about human nature that most people never see. And what he discovered about empaths would have changed everything for you if someone had told you sooner. He warned that the empath's greatest gift becomes their greatest vulnerability. Not because the gift itself is dangerous, but because of what it attracts. You have always been able to feel what others feel, to sense what is unspoken, to know when something is wrong even when everyone insists everything is fine. This ability has made you invaluable to the people in your life. They come to you with their pain. They share their secrets. They trust you with their darkness. And you receive it all, without judgment, without hesitation, without understanding that some people are not sharing their darkness to heal from it. They are sharing it to transfer it. This is what Jung warned about. This is what most empaths never see coming. There are people who seek out empaths specifically because of what they can take from them. Not love, not connection, not genuine understanding, but relief. Temporary relief from the weight of their own unprocessed emotions. And they get that relief by transferring that weight onto you. You thought you were helping them. You thought your empathy was healing them. You thought that by feeling their pain with them, you were making it easier for them to carry. But Jung understood something you did not. Some people do not want to heal. They want a repository. A place to dump everything they refuse to process themselves. And empaths make perfect repositories because you will take it. You will hold it. You will carry it like it is your own. And you will do this without even realizing what is happening. You remember the people who made you feel heavy. The ones whose presence left you exhausted. The ones who seemed to feel better after spending time with you while you felt inexplicably worse. The ones who always had a crisis but never seemed to actually want solutions. The ones who kept you in their life but only on their terms. These people were not connecting with you. They were using you. And Jung warned that most empaths never recognize the difference until it is too late. Because the transfer is subtle. It does not announce itself. There is no moment where someone says, "I am about to give you my pain and I do not intend to take it back." Instead, it happens through conversation, through presence, through the energetic exchange that occurs when an empath opens themselves to someone else's experience. You feel their sadness, and you think you are connecting. But you are absorbing. You sense their anger, and you think you are understanding. But you are taking it on. You recognize their emptiness, and you think you are helping them fill it. But you are filling it with pieces of yourself that you will never get back. This is the danger Jung saw. The empath who does not understand that they are being used as an emotional dumping ground will continue to absorb until there is nothing left of themselves. Until their own emotions become impossible to distinguish from everyone else's. Until they are so full of other people's unprocessed pain that they lose touch with their own experience entirely. You thought your empathy made you strong. That your ability to hold space for others was a superpower. And it is. But Jung warned that every superpower has a shadow side. And the shadow side of empathy is that it can be exploited by people who have no intention of doing their own emotional work. These people learned early that empaths will do the work for them. That if they share their pain with you, you will not just witness it. You will absorb it. You will process it. You will carry it. And they will walk away feeling lighter while you are left wondering why you suddenly feel so heavy. This is not an equal exchange. This is extraction. And most empaths never see it coming because they have been taught that this is what empathy looks like. That this is what it means to care. That this is the price of being sensitive in an insensitive world. But Jung would tell you this is not empathy. This is martyrdom. And the people taking from you are not connecting with you. They are using you as a tool for their own emotional regulation. You have felt this before. The strange exhaustion after spending time with certain people. The way their problems somehow become yours to solve. The way their emotions linger in your body long after they have left. The way you find yourself thinking about their pain more than they seem to think about it themselves. These are signs that you are not helping them. You are being used by them. Jung understood that most people are not conscious of what they are doing. They do not wake up and decide to exploit an empath. They simply follow the path of least resistance. And for people who refuse to do their own emotional work, the path of least resistance is finding someone who will do it for them. That someone has always been you. You attract these people like a magnet. Not because you are weak, but because you are strong. Because you have the capacity to hold what they cannot. Because your empathy is so vast that it can contain their chaos without breaking. At least at first. But Jung warned that even the strongest empath has limits. That there is only so much you can absorb before it starts destroying you. Before you lose yourself entirely in the weight of everyone else's unprocessed emotions. And by the time most empaths recognize this is happening, they are already drowning. You thought the danger of being an empath was feeling too much. But the real danger is feeling too much of what is not yours. Taking on pain that does not belong to you. Carrying weight that was never meant for you to hold. Becoming so identified with other people's experiences that you forget you have your own. This is what Jung warned about. This is what most empaths never see coming until they are already lost in it. You have been taught that your empathy is a gift you should give freely. That opening yourself to others is noble. That carrying their pain is love. But Jung understood that without boundaries, empathy becomes a weapon that others use against you. Not intentionally. Not maliciously. But inevitably. Because people who refuse to carry their own weight will always find someone willing to carry it for them. And empaths are always willing. Until they are not. Until they collapse under the weight of everything they have been carrying that was never theirs. Until they look in the mirror and do not recognize themselves anymore because they have become a container for everyone else's unprocessed darkness. This is the warning Jung tried to give. The one most empaths never hear until it is too late. The danger is not your empathy. The danger is believing that your empathy obligates you to absorb what others refuse to process. It does not. And understanding this changes everything. The hardest part of Jung's warning is accepting that you participated in your own depletion. Not because you were weak or naive, but because you believed that your ability to absorb pain was the same as your obligation to absorb it. You thought that being able to hold someone's darkness meant you should hold it. That witnessing their suffering meant taking it on as your own. But Jung understood the difference between empathy and enmeshment. Between holding space and holding weight. Between being present for someone's pain and becoming a container for it. Most empaths never learn this distinction. And the people who benefit from that confusion will never teach it to you. You have been in relationships where you could not tell where your emotions ended and theirs began. Where their bad day became your bad week. Where their anxiety lived in your chest. Where their anger moved through your body like it was your own. You thought this was intimacy. This was connection. This was love. But Jung would tell you this was contamination. An energetic bleeding that occurs when an empath has no boundaries between self and other. When you are so open to what someone else is experiencing that you lose track of what you are experiencing. And the people doing this to you are not always aware they are doing it. Most of them genuinely believe they are just sharing. Just being vulnerable. Just letting you in. They do not realize that what feels like relief to them is transfer. That when they walk away feeling lighter, it is because you are now carrying what they just put down. This is the invisible exchange Jung warned about. The one that happens beneath conscious awareness. The empath opens. The other person unloads. The empath absorbs. The other person feels better. The empath feels worse. And neither person fully understands what just happened. But over time, the pattern becomes undeniable. You start to notice that certain people only reach out when they need something. That conversations with them always leave you drained. That they seem to have the same problems year after year but never actually do anything to solve them. That your presence in their life seems more about utility than genuine care. Jung called this the problem of the wounded healer. The healer who takes on the wounds of others without realizing they are being wounded in the process. The healer who gives and gives and gives until there is nothing left. The healer who becomes sicker than the people they are trying to heal. This is what happens to empaths who never learn to protect themselves. Who never understand that empathy without boundaries is not virtue. It is self-destruction. You were taught that boundaries were selfish. That real love means being available always. That if you truly cared, you would never turn anyone away. That your empathy was a resource that should be freely given to anyone who asked for it. But Jung understood that this is how empaths are used up and discarded. Because people who take will always take as much as you allow them to take. And if you never set a limit, they will take everything. Not because they are evil. Not because they want to destroy you. But because they are operating from their own pain. Their own need. Their own desperate attempt to feel better. And if you are willing to make yourself feel worse so they can feel better, they will let you. Every single time. This is the part that hurts most when you finally see it. The realization that people you loved were using you. That relationships you thought were mutual were actually extractive. That you have been functioning as an emotional support system for people who never supported you emotionally. Jung taught that what you resist persists. You have been resisting this truth for years. Making excuses? Giving people the benefit of the doubt. Believing their promises to change. Hoping that if you just gave a little more, cared a little harder, absorbed a little more of their pain, they would finally start giving back. But they never did. And Jung warned that they never would. Because people do not change their patterns when those patterns are working for them. And extracting your empathy without reciprocating it has been working perfectly for them. The moment you start to see this, everything changes. You start to notice who only calls when they need something. Who disappears when you are struggling. Who takes your advice but never follows it. Who shares their pain but never asks about yours. Who uses your empathy as a free therapy session and then vanishes until they need another one. These people are not your friends. They are not your loved ones. They are not genuinely connected to you. They are connected to what you provide. And the moment you stop providing it, you will see how quickly they disappear. This realization is devastating at first. Because it means accepting that many of the relationships you valued were not relationships at all. They were transactions. Energy exchanges where you gave everything and received nothing. Where you absorbed their darkness and they walked away lighter while you collapsed under the weight. Jung understood that this awakening is necessary. That empaths cannot protect themselves until they see clearly what is happening. Until they recognize that not everyone who comes to them with pain is coming to heal. Some are coming to transfer. To dump. To use you as a repository for everything they refuse to process themselves. And once you see this, you cannot unsee it. Once you recognize the pattern, you spot it everywhere. In the friend who only texts when she is in crisis. In the family member who makes you responsible for his emotions. In the partner who uses your empathy to avoid his own accountability. In the coworker who drains you daily but never offers support in return. These people are what Jung called psychic vampires. Not in a supernatural sense, but in the very real sense that they feed on your energy. They attach themselves to empaths because empaths are the only people willing to give endlessly without demanding anything in return. But you are waking up now. You are starting to see what Jung tried to warn you about. You are recognizing that your empathy is being exploited. That your gift is being weaponized against you. That your ability to feel deeply has made you a target for people who refuse to feel at all. And this awareness, as painful as it is your salvation. Because you cannot protect what you cannot see. You cannot set boundaries around something you do not recognize as a violation. You cannot stop the transfer if you do not know it is happening. Jung believed that consciousness is the first step toward change. You are conscious now. You see how you have been used. You recognize the pattern. You understand that what you thought was connection was actually extraction. And now you have a choice. You can continue allowing it. You can keep absorbing. You can keep carrying weight that is not yours. You can keep functioning as an emotional dumping ground for people who will never reciprocate your care. Or you can stop. You can set boundaries. You can protect your empathy. You can reserve your gift for people who honor it instead of exploit it. Jung warned that this choice is one of the hardest an empath will ever make. Because it requires you to disappoint people. To let them down. To stop being endlessly available. To say no to people who have grown comfortable with your yes. It requires you to risk losing relationships that feel important. Even when those relationships have been slowly killing you. Even when you have been giving everything and receiving nothing. Even when you know, deep down, that these people do not actually love you. They love what you do for them. But Jung also taught that individuation requires separation. That becoming who you truly are means stepping away from who others need you to be. That the empath who cannot say no is not an empath at all. They are a martyr. And martyrdom is not love. It is self-betrayal. The warning Jung gave is simple but profound. Your empathy is precious. It is powerful. It is rare. And because it is all of these things, there will always be people who try to take it from you without giving anything back. Most empaths never see this coming. They give and give and give until there is nothing left. Until they are hollow. Until they have absorbed so much of other people's darkness that they lose touch with their own light. But you see it now. You understand what Jung was warning about. You recognize that you have been used. That your gift has been exploited. That you have been functioning as an emotional landfill for people who refuse to process their own waste. And now that you see it, you can stop it. You can reclaim your empathy. You can protect your energy. You can set boundaries that keep the takers out and let the givers in. This is not cruelty. This is consciousness. This is the awakening Jung said was necessary for empaths to survive in a world full of people who would rather use them than heal themselves. You were warned. And now you know.